All right, so the Chaos Recipe Enhancer is crazy. It's something that I really recommend like early league for people to use, because I think the first day of the league and the second day of the league specifically, this tool here pretty much automates the Chaos Recipe completely. And I don't know about you guys, but basically like all the rares and jewelry and things like that that you find on the floor are like they're not good, right? So or you know, there is always a chance that they're good, but for the most part they're really not that good. So what we're trying to do here is we're picking up all those rares and we're just putting them in a stash tab unidentified, right? And then when you get a full set of gear, say, you know, when you get like weapons, gloves, boots, two rings, an amulet, a belt, blah blah blah, you vendor it, and then you get 2 chaos for it if it's unidentified and 1 chaos if it's identified. Now it doesn't seem like much, but at the start of the league you're going to be getting lots of sets, and especially since it's facilitated by this tool, you know, that's going to specifically modify your filter as like, you know, it's going to show you, like, for example, gloves are going to be green, boots are going to be blue, and that's going to change live depending on how many of these you have in your current stash tab, so you don't get like completely overwhelmed with items in your tabs. You're going to be able to make like exalts pretty quick, because you know, day 1 and 2 exalts are like 50 chaos to 100 chaos. So you know, you're going to be making like a few sets, like 25 to 50 sets, and like you'd be getting a lot of chaos. I use this every league pretty much to get my early currency started and to start being able to buy like uniques that I need for my build and stuff like that. So yeah, the main issue with this is it takes like a lot of setup. So the thing that really puts people off from this tool is the setup. So there's a few things that we want to look at here. You're going to be downloading it directly from here. So you have this this GitHub, and then it's going to click here to download the MSI, and then you're going to run the MSI. Make sure that you right click and you say that it's trusted, because Windows is going to flag it as like, you know, not trusted or whatever. But I mean, I've been using this for a long time, and the tool's pretty good. So yeah, you can just click that and mine bitcoins for them. It's pretty good. But anyways, yeah, you're gonna get that. And then you have here the Chaos Recipe tool. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put your account name right here. So you're gonna put your account name. For me, it's crouching_tuna. The second thing you're gonna do, which is a little bit sketchy because I really don't want to leak my session ID, but for example, you're gonna log into the website, into the Path of Exile website here, as you can see. You're gonna make sure that you're logged in and everything. And then what you want to do is you want to hit F12, and F12 is gonna bring this up right here. This is for Google Chrome, right? On their GitHubs, they show you different ways on how to get this for whatever, for different browsers, whatever. So you're gonna see this tab up at the top, the little arrows. You click that, and then you click on applications, right? So applications, there we go. And you go to applications, and it should be right here. You see here PoE SSID. You click on that, and then the string is gonna be what you're gonna be copying directly into right here in the PoE session ID. And then you want to specify what league you're in. So in this case, I'm in standard because the league hasn't started yet. But what you're going to be doing is as soon as the league is released or whatever, you're going to be updating this. And then you're going to be clicking here, Sentinel League. So then you have that, and it's cool. If you're in a custom league or private league, you can also set that, and then you can set it however you like. Next, you're going to make sure that you click Chaos Recipe here and Fill Greedy Mode. I have Fill Greedy Mode because what happens then is that, for example, as you're progressing maps, you're gonna exit the bracket of item level, basically, that it's gonna allow you to get the Chaos Recipe, and instead it's gonna give you Regal Recipe, and you don't want that. You don't want Regals, you want Chaos. So if you do Fill Greedy Mode, what it does is it makes sure that it has one low item level item to make sure that it's actually still giving you the Chaos Recipe instead of the Regal Recipe, and it reserves those low item level items for you know, other sets, for example. And I think that's really good. Here in the General tab, it's basically completely up to you. So in regards to the full set threshold, this is basically, you can set it however you like, how much server space you have in your dump tab or whatever. I set it to 12. So what that means is that when I get 12 pairs of gloves, it's gonna reload the filter. So when I click reload filter, it's gonna stop highlighting gloves for me. so I don't have to then keep picking up gloves, basically. So yeah, essentially it's gonna like edit your filter until you have 12 sets of each of these things. So 12 amulets, 12 weapons, whatever. So you can set that however you like. You can even have it on 5 or however many you want, but I found like 12 is pretty good. So that means that then once I get a set of 12, I do my chaos recipe and then I start again. So yeah, and you like 12 takes, you know, quite a bit to actually fill up. So yeah. Stash tab mode, you go onto prefix rather than ID. So what prefix means is that you set the prefix here. So in my situation, I typed C. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna write C, right? That's the prefix. And then you go C space, and then you can name it whatever you want. So chaos recipe tab or anything like that, right? But C1, and you can have like C1, C2, C3, C4, whatever, right? So you can have whatever you like there, and it's completely up to you what you have in that tab right there. And then that's pretty much it for the general tab. Hotkeys is basically just like triggering the overlay. So like here is the overlay, for example, and all of the stuff. Default sounds, you can use just the default sounds and things like that. So yeah. And then we go into overlay mode. This is kind of like you can see your stash tab overlay, which is something that you press when you want to actually complete the chaos recipe and you want to find the items in your stash tab. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be pressing stash, right? And this is going to show up a grid. And what it's going to do is it's going to highlight items sequentially, depending on how they fit into your inventory. So it's going to tell you like, pick up this weapon, pick up these gloves, pick up this amulet, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to fit into your inventory. And you can get 2 sets of chaos recipe into 1 inventory. So you're going to be doing that twice until like your inventory is filled. So it's going to make sure that you actually have enough space for 2 sets of chaos recipe, basically, which is really, really handy because it does it in order and things like that. So, and the highlight color, you can set it to whatever you like. I made it light blue, but that's up to you. And yeah, this grid here, you got to also make sure that you can, you know, you actually fit it to fit into your stash tab. So this is going to be like dependent on your aspect ratio and all this kind of things. As you can see, I'm using an ultra wide screen. So yeah, you're going to have to edit that for ultra wide screen and so on and so forth. And you just basically get that to fit onto your tabs. You want to make sure the grid is lined up. And yeah, that's your overlay. So then you hide your overlay and that's good. And the next thing that is important is your loot filter. So you want to click loot filter manipulation. What that means is that it's basically going to look at the session ID and it's going to look at your tabs. And it's going to figure out how many of each you have. So example, as I said before, you set it to 12. It's going to look at your tabs and it's going to say you have 12 gloves. So I'm going to stop showing you gloves. So when you do reload filter, which right now I don't have, but when you say reload filter, what it's going to do is it's going to make you stop finding gloves. It's going to make stop highlighting gloves. And yeah, so what you do here is you go into your Path of Exile my games folder and you select the loot filter that you're actually using. So for me, it would be like my Helix thing, whatever. And you go reload filter, and what that does now is it's going to start showing literally all these items. And when you drop them on the floor, they're going to be highlighted in a certain way. So yeah, it's really, really, really handy. And yeah, so far that's pretty much all about the chaos recipe enhancer. There's a few other settings that you can look at, but for the most part, it's pretty much it. And yeah, it's a tool that I really, really recommend. It's a tool that's very, very good. That it's going to make you a lot of currency early on. And if you have any questions regarding like how you can set it up or whatever, you can always ask. But I've also set up here always active, so I always want to be picking up rings, amulets, and belts because that's going to be like your bottleneck basically. So yeah, just I always pick those up and I make them red so they're like bright and they're going to be on my filter and things like that. But yeah, one thing that you might want to do is you might want to make like a duplicate of your filter because it's going to mess up your filter. Obviously, you can always go back to your original filter, but basically I just make like a duplicate of the filter. So when I'm getting sick of Chaos Recipe after day 2, I just go back to my other filter and I have a copy and it's not overwritten and things like that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for the Chaos Recipe enhancer. So again, make sure you got your your account name, your session ID, your league. Get all your settings in here as they are for me, and yeah, you should be good to go and getting a lot of currency on day 1 and 2. So one thing that I can also show is how that looks like, specifically how it looks like when you are when you're highlighting items. So you can see here, this is what it looks like as it's highlighting. So you got your tab set up, and it's gonna show, like, for example, this, and you just click on that and it makes like a little noise, like beep beep beep, and then goes bloop once you completed like a recipe. And this is what it looks like in game as it's highlighting things. It's really bright and you can't miss the items. And yeah, that is the Chaos Recipe Enhancer, and I really highly recommend it. And yeah, hope that helps for the league start, boys.